Minor scale, or D minor etude. First of all, start off just students just getting comfortable playing the D minor scale. Your relative major is your F major, and just mainly to get, the reason is just to get used to that D minor tonality, or the minor tonality. Also, I encourage you to kind of, as a preparatory to the etude, is to practice arpeggios, major and minor. And I like the Arbin arpeggios. In the Arbin Complete Method for Tuba, they're on page 147 and 148. I didn't include it in the handout. For the euphonium players, the trombone Arbin Complete Method is good, and the pages there are 151 and 152. If you're not familiar with these, it's an entire page of major scale, major arpeggios, and then the next page are all minor. So you don't necessarily have to play all of them, but play half or a third, whatever. Just to get the arpeggios will help you, I think, in your prep with this etude. They're not totally similar, but I think they'll reinforce your etudes. One of the real challenges for us tuba players with this etude is just where to breathe, where to take good breaths. And there's not a lot of places to take good full breaths. So you're going to want to be taking quick breaths. The tendency as a student will be to do this. I'll just play it first. Oh, sorry, I forgot to. Forgive me. Here we go. First four measures, I'm going to play through. This is typical what can happen with the student. Takes a full beat for a breath. You want to keep the flow going. We don't want it metronomic, but you want to keep some semblance of a steady tempo going through the etude. So also with the breathing, I'm always looking for places to what I call subphrase in a 4-bar phrase. You can see I was taking little sips of air here and there. I'm generally looking for places within the music. Sometimes I breathe on the bar line. A lot of times I didn't. The only real place where you can really take a good full breath, other than the beginning, is in measure 12, off the high A. And also, don't be afraid to take a breath on ties where there's slurs, like between 16 and 17. It's an excellent place to take a good breath, because it's when you cheat yourself on your air, you're going to create tension. Your tone quality is going to suffer. And those are all things you want to kind of look ahead and practice. Those are your real challenges with this etude. It's another thing. I hope I was able to show you. Slight rubato. I would encourage that. That's where you're slightly getting faster, slightly getting a little slower, very subtly, not sudden. I did a little bit of that toward the end. And to get a grasp for the rubato, I suggest listening to really fine artists. Some of my favorites are the cellist Yo-Yo Ma, our violinist Joshua Bell. Closer to the tuba would be Pat Sheridan or Osteen Bostic. For euphonium players, Brian Bowman, Stephen Mead are great examples. And just listen to their playing, listen to their singing style, and just get it in your ear. Just listen to it over and over and over again. It'll help you when you go to pick up and work on these etudes yourself. Also, I wanted to mention there's not a lot of dynamic. There are a few dynamic markings and that, so you can feel free to add in. There's a lot of room for interpretation for different things. So, like at 13, of course, you have the crescendo, decrescendo within one measure, both measures. But then after that, there's nothing else. There's nothing else marked. So you know, there's a lot of freedom. There's a lot of, to make some crescendos, some decrescendos. Generally with the musical line, I always think of it as you're constantly going somewhere through the line or you're coming from somewhere through the line. So that there's always some sort of flow, either gradually getting louder, sometimes it's very subtle, or gradually getting softer. Toward the end, be sure and leave some air or gases for the ending. Generally, you'll probably want to slow that off, and you want to go from 23 into 24. You don't want to go into that completely out of air. There's a good chance you probably won't make that A octave if you don't have good airflow, good air support, and air in your lungs to get that last octave, and then be able to taper it. So that's pretty much most of what I wanted to say about the D minor. Any questions about that before we go on? Not yet? Okay.